Still worried, frankly, that USC under Riley has yet to land a 5-star from out west, a coveted OL or DL prospect under Riley. Yeah, I mean, that is like we need to see. I did mention earlier, LFG, that like the ceiling has not, we're not even close to the ceiling, or we're not even close to where the ceiling should be under Lincoln Riley in terms of offensive line recruiting and line play recruiting. Like there is a much higher place that this staff can, should, and frankly needs to reach in terms of its overall recruitment. Now, you do have the transfer portal, and you got Anthony Lucas. You know that is a significant piece in the portal, taking advantage of the splintering, fragmenting situation at Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher. So like, you know, the portal's existence not only enables coaches such as Lincoln Riley and coaches in all sports, you know, we're seeing this in basketball too, to immediately replenish the roster with, you know, a seasoned player, a player who has college snaps under his belt. And so you're not getting a freshman who's, you know, green and inexperienced and hasn't adjusted to the speed of the college game. No, you're getting a much more ready-made player whom you could plug into the lineup. So the transfer portal obviously really resets the chessboard a lot more quickly than just going after recruits. But that having been said, like your USC, your Lincoln Riley, like you need to be hammering the trail so that, you know, if you get a higher volume of recruits, and this is part of the recruiting business. Like I'm not a recruiting expert. I don't spend a lot of time about recruiting, but I know enough to know that, you know, if you get 3 or 4 elite prospects, doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get 3 or 4 hits, 3 or 4 success stories, but it does increase the odds that one of them is going to be an elite recruit, which makes your team so much better than it previously was. And so we do need to see the volume, LFG. Like that is absolutely correct. We need to see more hits, more home runs in terms of recruiting line play. And that's going to give USC the talent and the depth that it will need to be successful in the Big Ten Conference. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about on Trojan Conquest Live with Tim and Rick on Sunday evening, so just, you know, basically 27, 28 hours ago or so, one of the things we talked about was Alex Grinch, you know, addressing the media last week. He addressed the media for the first time since the Cotton Bowl. And he and Lincoln Riley both had a number of comments. And I made the point, and I don't know if you were watching this. So if you weren't, here's what I said. And I said this to Tim and Rick, you know, that Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch both talked about, you know, strength training, conditioning, getting in the weight room, that guys are thicker, guys are more solid, their bodies are being built up. And, you know, that's something which takes some time. You couldn't all do it in 1 year under a strength and conditioning coach, Benny Wiley, who came with Lincoln from Oklahoma. And, you know, there's obviously a certain amount of validity to that. And I guess in the spring, that's the kind of thing you talk about because, well, what else is going on? Like you're not seeing live games. So I guess, you know, a coaching staff would naturally mention improved strength and conditioning and improved weight training and all of that going in the right direction. So, you know, we shouldn't overanalyze this and we shouldn't get too caught up in all of it. But I did say that, gosh, you know, if the coaching staff is focusing on strength training, like that doesn't tell me that the players are doing better at technique in terms of tackling. Like that's what I would really like to have read and would like to have heard from Alex Grinch in terms of, you know, his first address, his first comments since the Cotton Bowl. I would like to be seeing more about how, oh, guys are picking up technique. And, you know, we taught players to rake the ball away. We taught players to be ball hawks. We taught players to force turnovers, and that really stuck. That really set in last year. But now they're getting the handle on tackling. Now we're seeing guys wrapping up better. We're seeing guys, you know, secure ball carriers at the first point of contact. Like, that's the thing I'd like to see. And again, like we don't want to overreact, but think of it this way: just in terms of preferences, okay? Preferences. What I would like to hear in an ideal world. That's what I'm trying to walk you through here. That's what I'm trying to make distinctions about. And the things that were said, while reasonable and fine as far as they go, they weren't the best things that I possibly could have heard. They're not the things that make me feel supremely confident about, is this defense getting better? Are things turning around for the better? So that those details, like, everyone's is going to have a different opinion about that, but like that's my preference, that's my inclination in terms of what Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch said about this defense.